when they were doing all that.
I just think it's
stuff
funny
up
that
here, all
people
the
have posts on Facebook.
What?
They were doing
Hey
all
guys,
that-
shh, quiet. Quiet. Mason. Okay. Shush. Take out your notes. Let's get started.
My notes are out.
Why
I'm
they
not
can
talking
find
to
it for a long
Steve hit me
time?
in the eye with something.
Okay, Steven. Okay.
Mr. Duff.
In my opinion, the reason that it's going to be written about for quite a long time is because every single statistical website I looked at had Hillary pegged at greater than 70% probability of winning.
Oh, yeah.
The New York Times had her at 85%. The Princeton Statistical Society had her at 95% chance of winning. The Huffington Post had her at 99% chance of winning. 538, which is an independent statistical website, had her at the lowest that I could find, and theirs was 69% chance of winning.
They were all wrong.
And where did they get their statistics?
They based it on independent polls that they all ran independent of each other. And so every single place that I could find, and I looked at a lot of different statistics, every single place that I could find, none of them were anywhere close to what happened last night.
I think it was basically over when Trump won Florida.
No, I agree, and that was the big key is him winning those 29 electoral votes.
Everybody agrees.
I honestly thought she was gonna win.
Nobody.
So did everybody.
Oh!
He really
Well,
did.
big shocker was North Dakota going Trump's way.
No, North Dakota was going to go Trump's way.
I don't know.
They're the oil field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I was shocked Colorado went Hillary.
Not me.
No, Colorado was going to go Hillary.
I
Oh,
was
yeah.
I
shocked.
was expecting Utah to
They have a
go
lot of
to
lines.
their more shocking was Pennsylvania.
Okay, so
Colorado.
shh, guys, quiet. So
I was surprised Utah didn't go for the libertarian.
Utah wasn't going to go Libertarian. Utah was going to go for Evan McMullen.
They don't mind that.
Okay, so
compared to like Wyoming.
Well, can we just like
okay, shh, shh.
That'd be
So
something.
you guys can talk about this in your PAD class or in your U.S. history class.
You don't have U.S. history or pad.
Okay.
Let's
Then
talk about it.
you're not talking about it right now anyway,
It
so you'll be fine. So
Nobody does.
let's talk about lone divider. So
everybody.
Mason. So, anybody who's ever had to cut something up between you and your siblings, lone divider is the I cut you choose method. So like if you and your sibling have ever had to share something and your parents will be like, well, one of you cuts and the other one chooses. Have you guys ever had that experience?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
me.
I've always had it whenever my parents had me and one of my siblings share something, it's always been, well, one of you cuts and the other one chooses, right? To make it seem more fair. So that it doesn't, like, it's not one of you cuts and you make one giant piece and one tiny piece, and you're like, I get this piece and you get that
I
tiny itty
usually
bitty
do
piece.
the other person a bigger piece.
So, lone divider is one person cuts things up into pieces and then somebody else chooses from the pieces. We're going to get a little more complex than that, and we're going to talk about land division here.
And then you go back and get more later, too.
All right. So let's say that like somebody dies and they have their land put into a trust. This got dark.
Hostile.
You guys, you didn't like the pizza and the cake.
This is a little bit too real world for me.
Yeah. This is school.
So land is put into a trust after somebody dies because they died unexpectedly. So land is put into a trust. The total value of the land, total value,
Oh, can I put equals?
sure, is, we'll say $500,000. Being split amongst 4 different heirs. So split between
Is that $500?
500,000.
Alright,
Split between 4 siblings.
Look at 500 days. Cheap land. Yeah, that's why I was like,
We're going to say those 4 siblings can't get along. They can't like come to any sort of agreement as to what's going on. And so one of the siblings has to split it up. And so we're going to have these 4 siblings here. I'm going to just say that it's 4 of you guys in this room just for funsies. So the 4 siblings are Trevor, Sam, Steven,
Sorry.
and Tierra. And we've got these 4 different pieces of land. We've got piece number 1, piece number 2, piece number 3, and piece number 4. And these 4 different pieces of land, they're like, you guys are going to value them differently.
This is like, let's say the parent died.
Yeah,
What you're saying?
or like an uncle or something. Not
Also,
necess-
also like depends on the power of attorney and stuff.
right. So there's a trust that's set up, and there's going to be one person who's set up to be the executor. The executor is the person who gets to have the final say. If the
And
person
who
dies
gets first
unexpectedly, sorry?
And who gets first choice?
Exactly. So we're going to say that one of these people gets to split up the tracts of land. Now, if in the lone divider method, the person, whoever gets to split it up is going to split it up into what they think is fair. So they're going to split it up into what they think is an exact equal tract of land for everybody. So let's say that it's $500,000. So they're going to split it up into what they think is an exact equal amount between each tract of land. So $500,000 divided by 4. Okay? So what's $500,000 divided by 4? So I'm going to grab my robot buddy, and I'm going to do that really quickly. So 500, let me exit from all these stupid menus on here. So 500,000 divided by 4 is $125,000. I'm going to lop off the 1,000 part, and I'm just going to call it 125. Does that make sense? So I'm going to say that Tierra is in charge of splitting up the land. And she thinks that these 4 tracts of land are all worth equal value. So she thinks this one's worth 125,000. She thinks this one's worth 125,000. This one's worth 125,000. And this one's worth 125,000. So she's in charge of splitting up the pieces of land, and she thinks they're all worth an equal amount. Does that make sense so far, guys? All right. Trevor totally disagrees with her. Trevor thinks tract number 1 is worth way more than tract number 2. Trevor thinks tract number 1 is worth $200,000. He thinks tract number 2 is worth $80,000. He thinks tract number 3 is worth $200,000. And he thinks tract number 4 is worth $20,000. So Trevor thinks that Tierra did a bad job splitting up the tracts of land. He thinks that these 2 are worth way more than those 2. So he totally disagrees with her. Sam also disagrees with Tierra. Sam thinks that this tract of land is worth $100,000. Sam thinks that this tract of land is worth $200,000. Sam thinks that this tract of land is worth $50,000. And Sam thinks that this tract of land is worth $150,000. Stephen also disagrees with Tierra. Stephen thinks this tract of land is worth $250,000.
I said no such thing.
You don't even know what's on there. Maybe like this is like where you and your uncle used to go trapping, and it means a lot to you sentimentally.
I feel like 1 and 3 have
I
water.
never
Definitely
went
have
trapping
water.
with anyone.
Some type of pond.
Yeah.
Could be.
Because if you're wanting that much.
Or 1 and 2.
Could be.
Nah.
So then Stephen thinks that tract number 2 is worth $50,000.
I'm agreeing with Trevor over here. It is.
He thinks tract number 3 is worth $100,000.
Yep, never.
And he thinks tract number 4 is worth $100,000.
Alright.
So everybody disagrees about how much these tracts of land are worth, and we have to figure out how we're going to split them up equally between these 4 siblings. So everybody's going to get one piece of land, but we have to figure out how much everybody's going to get.
But Tierra gets to choose, so.
Yes.
Tierra doesn't get to choose. Tierra got to split. Our job is to come in and figure out who gets what.
This isn't real life again.
It is real life. Because we're going to act as the executor of the will. Tierra's job was to split up the tracts of land, so she split them into these 4 tracts.
Yeah, but you have the power of attorney.
Right, we're coming in with the power of attorney. Like, we're an outside party. Tierra's one of the 4 people. We're coming in with the power of attorney, and we're going to decide who gets which piece of land.
Power of attorney gets first choice.
Right. So what we're going to do, though, is we're acting as if we're the attorney here, not one of the people who's actually.
So we're another kid.
We're not another kid. We're an outside party. We're like a best friend to the deceased who's not actually going to benefit.
That doesn't make sense.
It happens.
Best friends don't be power of attorney though.
It can though. Like with my dad's will, the person who has the power of attorney isn't one of us, isn't one of his kids. The person with power of attorney is his best friend's kid, who isn't in the will at all. And the reason my dad did that is so that there's not going to be any argument over certain things. It's what my dad did. It's what happened. Anyway, so with this land, we're going to act as somebody who's coming in from the outside. You doing okay there, Mason?
No.
Okay.
I can't remind myself right now.
Everybody's just stupid.
We're going to come in from the outside, and we're going to decide who gets which piece of land. So So first of all, the person who divided it is the person who thinks they're all equally valuable. So the divider is the one who has equal value on everything. All right? You guys with me on this? So the person who did the dividing is the one who has equal value. So the divider is here. Basically, as a group. So the divider is here. So we want to figure out who puts what value on what. So let's do
I
Trevor.
would say whoever wants it more, whoever's willing to pay more money.
No, because they're all
You're
paying
not-
the same amount, period.
You're really not gonna be.
They're not paying for it. It's an inheritance.
That's what they get.
So
Oh, so then just give Steven the 250,000, and then give Sam the 200,000.
so hold on. Let's go through this here for a second here. Now 125 is like the base value of it. So what we want to do is we want to go through and say that if they're playing fairly, who should get like what pieces of land they value at least 125 or more. So
I think
if we're looking-
Steven should get 1 and Trevor gets 3.
well, hold on. Let's look at this just for a second. So slow down. So Trevor, which pieces of land does Trevor value at least 125,000 or more?
1 and 3.
Okay, so Trevor values 1 and he values 3 at least 125 or more. What pieces does Sam value at least 125 or more?
2 and 4.
2 and 4? Well, how about Steven? At least 125 or more?
1.
1.
So Steven
And
gets
then
1.
Tiara,
All of them.
so 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Steven does what? 1.
Right. So if we're going to assign pieces of land, Steven should get part number 1. Because
Trevor should get number 3.
so if Steven gets part number
Sam
1,
should
Trevor
get
can't
number
get
2.
1, so Steven should get 3.
Sam should get 2. And Tiara can have
Wait, so who's Trevor should get 3 mean? You said
So now why should Sam get 2 instead of 4?
because
He
it really
values
doesn't
it more.
matter.
Because what?
It really doesn't
She
matter.
values it more.
Okay, you were saying because she values it more. Alright, so Mason, you're saying it doesn't matter.
Not really.
Okay.
And also because Trevor wants 3 more than, oh wait, sorry, just kidding.
Right, but we gave 1 to Steven because Steven didn't want any other piece of land more than
Well, Tiara
125.
doesn't really care what she gets because she values it.
Right, so Tiara's gonna get whatever's left.
I think,
Which is not
So
right.
Okay,
if
hold on,
you
hold
get 1.
Slow down, Rebecca.
I
Trevor
think Sam
can't
should get
get
2
1.
because she thinks
That means Tara can't get 1 either, right?
Is
it's
with
more
more.
than 4.
1 is already Steven's.
That's what I'm saying, so Tara can't get 1.
Because one's already taken.
Right, Tiara's gonna get whatever's left because she values them all equally. So
So
Tiara,
just give Steven 1,
right.
Steven
give
already
Sam
has 1.
2, give Trevor 3, and give Tara 4.
Well, let's slow down on Sam here for a second. I agree with Steven getting 1, and I agree with Trevor getting 3. Well, I just want to talk about Sam for a second. Now, Rebecca says that we should give Sam 2 because Sam values 2 more than 4.
Yeah.
Mason says that it doesn't matter. Why do you say it doesn't matter, Mason?
Because it just depends on what one she wants. It honestly doesn't matter because Tiara wants all of them.
Okay,
She values them all the same.
so I agree with Brett and Rebecca. Your textbook says that what you should do in this case is flip a coin and go with
Screw that.
I'm just saying what your textbook says. I agree with Rebecca and Brett. It should go to or Sam should get number 2 because she values number 2 more than 4, and I think it should go to 2. I think Sam should get 2 in my opinion, and then that would leave Tiara with getting spot number 4.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
I agree with you there. I'm just saying your textbook says you should flip a coin, but I think Sam should get 2. In my opinion, that's the way it should work.
I ain't about to flip a coin that's worth
Exactly.
$200,000.
I agree. And then that way
Tara
here,
absolutely
I mean,
gets
what
no
right.
point.
and this, okay, so, and this way, guys, quiet. This way, Trevor's getting something that he values at least as much as a quarter of the worth of the property. So Sam, so is Steven, and so is Tiara. Because Tiara doesn't care which of the property she gets because she values them all equally. Right? Now Tiara kind of seems like she's getting gypped, but she's the one who split them up in the first place. Does that make any sense? Kind of, sort of? Alright. Let's take a look at today's. So is this, do you like doing this better than cakes and
Oh,
cookies?
yes. Sure. Will you help me on doing that page?
I will look at that in a second. Take a look at today's stuff.
I can't do it myself.
How
The divider is the one who values them all equally.
So call. Call.
All right.